everybody, welcome back. It is another music show live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hope you're all doing well. We are joined by Jay Psaros on Joppa Afternoon Drive.
When your time come for leaving, going on your own, there's no believing like a long day. Yeah, it never will end. Fire burns, take your smoking ashes. Lord, I've learned love, it never passes on words. It goes, yeah, it never will end. And I say to myself, I can't be the only one standing my ground, holding on to nothing that will never come round. Ain't it really something? It's a long time coming, and it's a long time coming, and it's a long time coming. See this time pretty as a picture in my mind. Nothing lasts forever sometimes. Yeah, that's just how it goes. So divine, yeah, the light and darkness in between. Yeah, there's something that I can't quite figure out. Yeah, but that's how it goes. And I say to myself, I can't be the only one standing my ground, holding on to nothing that will never come round. Ain't it really something? It's a long time coming, and it's a long time coming, and it's a long time coming. And I say to myself, I can't be the only one standing my ground, holding on to nothing that will never come round. Ain't it really something? It's a long time coming, and it's a long time coming, and it's a long time coming, and it's a long time coming.
All right, Jay Psaros on Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hello, everybody. Our new little show open there. We like going the music right off the bat. Jay Psaros joining us from the South Shore. How you doing, sir? Thanks for making the trip, man.
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Welcome back to the old studios.
It's been a long time since I saw you.
It's been like we've seen each other a little bit more recently, but in here it's been like a long time since I've seen anybody. It's nice to be back in the studio.
It is good to be back in the studio.
Feels good. How you been?
I've been good.
Good.
Yeah.
You have had a busy pandemic, my friend. Some people I don't want to say thrive because I feel like that's like the wrong word, but I mean, let's face it, you kind of have. You've had a big pandemic music-wise and all that stuff. How you doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a very weird transition because I think when the pandemic first hit, it's like the instant panic.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But then, kind of got to like, man, I haven't really had a break in a little while.
Yeah.
So this is kind of nice. But I think if you're in music, I mean, at least for myself, I'm so conditioned to like not knowing where work's coming from.
Yeah.
So it feels weird to not be busy. And we kind of had a unique situation going into the pandemic. Not only just playing, I was playing, maybe 5, 6, 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
And also doing a lot of booking for other artists. But as the booking agency grew, my wife, who's also a creative, she's a great photographer and videographer. We've talked about this for a while. We were like, it'd be great to get a studio set up. So in February of 2020, we signed the lease on a studio.
Wow.
And then in March, It was like over the March 13th. It was the course of 3 days. All of the rooms that I booked for and played canceled on me.
Bad break. Yep.
Yeah. So like, I looked at
Timing's everything.
Yeah, timing's everything. So my wife and I were like, oh man, like what are we gonna do? But it was kind of a blessing in disguise because we had like these big plans to roll right into studio work, and the studio wasn't ready. You know, it's a small studio, but it takes time to flush all this stuff out and whatnot. So, but we did have all the equipment, so it kind of allowed both of us, from a musician end and for her for a video end, to transform into this live streaming platform. And I was really taken back by how many people supported the live stream thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a great way to transition into the pandemic. And, you know, as more and more people saw our live streams, we started getting like, you know, we did a digital musical for an original play. And then we did one for Fontbonne Academy. They wanted to do a virtual high school musical. And then we were doing these virtual fundraisers.
Wow.
So it was kind of nice.
Cool.
And really,
you put on your own Friday night. I spent a couple of Friday nights with you, I think, if I remember correctly.
And it was great, man, because it was like, I felt kind of like a kid again here. Just starting out, like I could just spend all this time in the studio and be creative. And it reminded me of like coming home after high school and just going to my room and just like being creative for hours and not worrying about like I got to be somewhere. If anything, it was you were advised not to be anywhere.
So it was liberating for you in a lot of ways.
It was very liberating. Yeah.
PB&J Records.
You got it, man.
Which I know. I mean, I've known you for a while now. I knew that was the title. I never knew where the PB&J comes from. It makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, tell us.
Yeah, so it's my initials backwards.
It's also your favorite sandwich.
I love them. I eat 4 of them every day. Yeah. I'm very serious about this PB&J thing. No. So I'm Jason Brian Psaros.
How about that?
Flip it. You know, I didn't know what to call it. We started this as kind of not a joke, but just a way to like be involved with original music and work with other artists. And I was like, well, we got to call it something.
And now here you are growing.
And here we are growing, you know.
It's a great thing.
It's a great thing.
Very cool. Might I just say, don't forget about us here when you get too big, because I've seen you on with Three Dog Night, like all these massive bands that are touring the country. You're bouncing all around the country. I mean, my goodness.
Well, first of all, Drew, don't. I think 90% of my viewership comes from stuff that you're doing here.
That is not true. You yourself just sold out a little hometown show. Not a little hometown show. It's a big theater, but damn.
Well, I wouldn't say a big theater. It's a good sized room. It's you know, a little under 300 seats.
They had to expand the room. Am I right?
Yes, they built a whole addition. So it's the main hall is it's like 265 seats.
Yeah.
And kind of what they do is they've been doing this lobby series. I think everyone's trying to find a way to get back into regular programming, and in a lot of these rooms too, I think certainly the pandemic has shaken a lot of things up. And you know, certain guys maybe don't want to come back out on the road. A lot of rooms are starting to look towards who's the next generation of artists that are going to be filling seats. You know, when the guys that are filling seats now aren't. Yeah. Especially in the singer-songwriter and folk scene, because you know, kind of a big, I don't want to say an issue, maybe an observation that I've had is it seems like people that are a little older than I am always appreciate what I do, maybe more than my own demographic or younger.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it reminds them of the art that they grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, because they didn't grow up with, you know, electronic production and all that stuff.
So it's old souls or old people?
Old souls or old people, or old people with young souls, something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know, but the Spire, what was cool about this is it's a Thursday night show, and what they're doing is they offered me a date, and they said, you know, it's called the Lobby Series, and it's 70 tickets.
Yeah.
If you sell 70 tickets, then we move you into the main hall, and you know I can do okay. Like I'm good for I can certainly pull my weight for some of these small clubs around the region.
Yeah.
And but this seems to have been like a little bit of a turning point where I've been able to sell some decent amounts of tickets for some pockets here and there.
I bet. It's not just my family, man. I'm telling you, we're North Shore. That's all South Shore. That's all you're doing down there. I joke about that because I told you this. I've told you this off the air. I'll say it on the air because I think it's a funny story. But we were blasting Jay had I think it's fair to say, a hit here this past summer.
Yeah.
Was it this summer or the summer before?
I don't know, man.
Pandemic all mixed up. It was one of the pandemic summers. I know that.
It's crazy. One of the, yeah.
Well, crazy, right?
Yeah.
But you had this great song, Zombies, that came out, and I just happened to be, me and the family, the cousins, were out on the boat in the middle of the lake, Moose Pond up in Maine.
Yeah.
And I happened to be on social media checking something out, and you posted.
Enjoying your vacation, scrolling.
Yeah, scrolling through it. I think I had a drink in one hand and the phone in the other. And I happened to see you post about a new single, and I said, oh, this will be fun. Put it right on the speaker, and like the family fell in love with it on the lake.
Oh, nice.
And I think about 30 homes that didn't really choose what they were listening to also had to fall in love with it.
That's right.
But
Stick it to them. Yeah.
echoing through the mountains. But it was, that was a great song, and
Thanks,
I don't know. I was very happy to see you thriving through that.
Well, that was a special song because I mean you always try and write from a place of honesty and stuff that means something to you. And the muse is a funny thing because like as a songwriter, there's kind of these two sides of you. There's like the side that's like mechanical and like we can get the job done, but then there's this other side that like kind of chases what moves you a little bit more. And I felt like with this pandemic it was like a whole new set of emotions that touched upon that muse a little bit more than say trying to write because you want to write a new song.
Yeah.
And you always need something to look forward to. I think no matter what you do and what business you're in or whatever.
Do you know you have something when you do something like that, or do you actually kind of have to watch like, oh, it seems like Spotify likes this, like, do you know?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I think I'm getting more in tune to that feeling. Like I thought that I had something with this. But I thought I've had something with something else, and it just
miss.
Miss. Yeah, and there's stuff that I'm like miss, and
it's probably a damn good song. We probably missed it as listeners, right?
Well, yeah, like so. You never know, but what I'm learning to pay more attention to is like what feels right versus what actually might be right on paper.
Yeah.
And what was so great about that song is it brought me a lot to look forward to. I mean, it got a great reaction when I put it out on Facebook, so of course that was nice and feeds ego a little bit. But I think it was that song. I don't know how, but I was friends with someone who is on Facebook married to like the VP of marketing of Martin Guitars.
Oh.
So they sent that song to him and they invited me to do a live stream via their Facebook page, which has like a couple million followers.
Wow.
And
cool.
I play Martins. I've loved Martin Guitars. So it was kind of like that song, gave me a positive light in like a dark kind of time.
Yeah.
And it was just, I didn't know what opportunities were going to look like in a digital world.
Yeah.
And that song kind of showed me what they could look like. So I was just thankful for that.
That's great.
Well,
you get a million of them. So what's next? Yeah. I'm going to try to give people a good sample size today.
He says a million. He means like 4. No.
No, it's a lot more than that. I do know that.
Well, I'm in this open tuning here, so I'm going to play another song that was kind of really special that came out of the pandemic for me. This one's called Rise When You Fall.
All right, Jay Psaros on Afternoon Drive.
Shame when it's written in jest. Yeah, they rise when you fall and you fall with the rest. Yeah, they rise when you fall and you fall with the rest. but they don't make a sound. And when all of your love is too close to the chest, yeah, they rise when you fall and you fall with the rest. Yeah, they rise when you fall and you fall with the rest. I'll give you a little while to see what comes and goes. Maybe it's something I'll never get to know. I've seen better times, I know. I've seen the angels, I've shaken their hands, I've been in their homes. Slow to burn, so I may be. I'm still burning, still burning to be free. When the car's in drive and you run out of gas, and the road that you took is unable to pass, and when all of your love is too close to the chest, yeah, you rise when you fall and you fall with the rest. Yeah, they rise when you fall and you fall with the rest. Yeah, they rise when you fall and you fall with the rest. Hey,
Well,
thank you.
all right, well done, Jay. We've done well here when you get applause from outside the studio. That is the official mark of a damn good performance. Well done, sir. Beautiful song. It's funny. I got to be careful not to say beautiful every time because Howard Stern, I noticed. He has a lot of musicians on his show, and I like to watch him because it's kind of a nice style for me.
Yeah, you're gonna be the next Howard Stern.
So there you go. Yeah, sure. If you want to start lobbying in that direction.
We're gonna lift the restrictions here.
Yeah. Sarah's cringing. Oops, sorry. She's also telling me to turn it up a little bit.
Okay.
Sound good? 1, 2, 3, 4. We go. Sorry about that. Yeah, see, she's got to stay on me or we're in trouble. But Howard Stern says like beautiful to like every song, and I was like, it genuinely means it. You can tell it's from the heart. But
I love him, man. He's great.
It is. There's certain guys that like we've actually talked about this before too, but just conversation style. They get certain things out of people that like other interviewers don't. I like to kind of. I always think that's the points you want to get to as when you just people just opening up to you. So.
Well, and it's funny with someone like Howard Stern. I mean, sure, there's a lot of shock value involved in what he does.
Yeah.
But I think it's like genuine.
Yeah.
And there's something sweet
There
about
is.
that.
And it's kind of like been a good progression of like a little bit more shocking
right
20 years ago.
yeah.
And like, he's at a different age now, a different point in life. He doesn't need to do certain things that
Right.
maybe he was doing before. You kept it together very nicely there on the run out of gas line because we had a funny thing.
Oh, well, I was thinking, I was like, I could say something here, but I won't.
Jay actually, he was in his own zone today driving over and he goes, I got to get off this highway.
I'm a hot mess, man.
I need to go get myself some gas.
Well, like the thought of having to be stuck on the Charleston Bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do? Like I'm gonna get beaten up because I ran out of gas.
You're gonna be the guy on traffic on the threes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be that guy.
Nope.
I have to ask you here, and as we tune away, I always tell every time somebody tunes on the show, I always tell do you know Chad Stokes of Dispatch?
Yeah.
I probably am starting to say this too much. My loyal fans are gonna get sick of this story, but for some reason there was this great line he said at a live show once, and he's up there and he's tuning, and like people are being polite, they love him, but he's tuning, and he kind of it's taking a little while, so he felt bad about it, and he just goes, "I tune because I care."
Yeah.
And everybody started laughing. I thought it was great. I don't know, it always stuck with me for some reason. Just one of those concert moments.
You know what? It's funny because out on the road I bring 2 guitars with me, and like I didn't play Zombies once this whole tour this past
Is
summer.
that right? Wow.
Because it was I would have had to have a 3rd guitar.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't want to kill it. I want the guitars boom, boom, boom. I try and keep it pretty quick. Excuse me, but I actually just went and got a guitar that I have set up so I can do.
Yeah.
Because this show that I have coming up to Spire, I'm trying out this new thing where I have all the guitars tuned. So I'm not, plucking away in between because it kills vibes.
People don't realize that, do they? You don't have a tech up there running around for you.
And dude, when you're up there tuning, like it might only take 10, 15 seconds, but if it feels long,
yeah,
it feels really long. It's dead air.
Yeah, no, I could feel that. Yeah, and you probably, I know it's only 10, 15 seconds, but you've probably felt like I could lose them if I take 5 more seconds, right?
Oh yeah, of course. It's like it's not even lose them. It's almost like an awkward silence because you have this you have this banter going with an audience, whether it be through song or applause or even heckling. If someone's going to yell something at you, there's a nice exchange. And then all of a sudden, especially if you're tuning through a tuner and you turn the sound off and you're just up there going, and you're always trying to banter through it a little bit.
I feel pressure on the campfire if there's a lot of family members there.
Yeah.
Never mind if it's a full arena.
Oh yeah, well it's weird. So ideally I just have all the guitars I need.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate because I've been traveling in an RV, so I can carry this stuff. If I was flying, I've done some flying dates. I'll still only bring 2 guitars.
Yeah.
Just because it's expensive.
Can we talk a little bit about the travel? Because I loved your story. So what is it like, first of all, when you get that? What's like the first big call? Like I know you did a whole thing with 3 Dog Night I think I mentioned that earlier. Not the only ones. Are they like the first call that you were like, wow, okay, that's a band that has seen it all. Like do you remember getting that first one? You're almost surprised by it?
All right, so the very first opener I did was actually for Ziggy Marley.
Wow.
And this was back in 2015.
Must have been interesting backstage.
Well, so they run a very, very tight crew, and
yeah.
depending on the venue and everything. So I didn't meet them or meet any of the crew. And
okay.
I don't want to say wasn't prepared, but I've never done a gig that size before.
Yeah.
And it was strange because I'm so far outside the reggae genre.
Yeah.
So I had that whole thing in my mind, and it was at the Music Circus or Melody Tempo. It was one of the ones where the stages spin.
Yep.
So then there was that whole element, but that I was kind of I didn't even. It was just strange, and then it was weird. After that, the first few times I got some of these opportunities, I was pretty taken back by it. I got called to open up for Eddie Money, the day before his show, and so there's no prep time. And when you're just starting to get into venues that size, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And they don't, for a last minute opener, especially a guy that's doing a one-off. It's not like you show up to your dressing room. I've changed in elevator shafts and they're seriously, they'll be can you change in the cargo elevator? We don't have enough room
so
for you.
Glamorous, right?
Yeah, but it's I don't care, you can't, because I'm still earning the keep. But as time went on and I started building these relationships, in some of the rooms, got to know you, and then maybe you'd come back and open up for someone the second time they're in town.
Yeah.
And they realize you're not a psychopath, and they're like, oh yeah, you're doing it, like, yeah, go change over here, you're fine, you want some food or whatever. So and it makes sense because there's a lot of craziness in this business, and I actually experienced a lot of that this summer. But with Three Dog, it was kind of a unique build because I got a one-off with them down in Rhode Island several years ago, and they just, for whatever reason, didn't have an opener that night. I stayed in touch with their management, but
they obviously liked you.
Yeah, and what was really cool, I think they just needed an opener for like 3 or 4 dates out in the Midwest, so they called me and they gave me those. And this was 3 years ago maybe.
Right.
And I met their tour manager Tom, who was like a great guy. I mean, the whole crew, they've been really lovely. Even from that first gig, I had my in-laws with me. And, I knew I was very well aware who Danny Hutton was, the founder of the band. But all the other band guys welcomed myself and my in-laws, who are big fans of theirs. Like, we're eating food with them, and I don't know who's who at this point outside of maybe Danny, and and they all said hi to everyone. It was just very very different, like
welcoming,
very welcoming. Not that other bands aren't welcoming, but I think these guys have been at it for such a long.
They gotta remember the grind, right? I mean, it's not easy coming up and making your bones,
No, and you know what? It's not easy, for them after 50 years in the industry. It's still work, I mean, so Danny Hutton is he's 79 years old.
Wow.
And he gets on this tour bus every night, just like the rest of the guys. Because people think, I mean, who was it? Alec Baldwin was on Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yeah.
And they had this great conversation about when they were kids, like how they perceived show business. And they're like, man, like they see someone coming to a theater and their name's in lights, and you almost think that like the show business fairy like puts them in the show business bubble and like transports them to the stage, and there they are.
So true.
But you forget that these dudes, like, they're up at 5 a.m, they catch the flight from LA, they come from LA, they go out on the East Coast, they jump on the tour bus, they drive 5 hours, they show up at the hotel at 7 a.m, they sleep all day, they're at the show, and then they repeat the process. It's not easy.
No. People screaming for that song.
But with them, so that's a relationship that I kept in touch with, because out in the Midwest, Tom, said, hey man, like, really good job. I'm sure we'll see you again. And so we kept in touch, and this tour, and this is a whole long story. I don't even know if I can really get into it, to be honest with you. It was these were supposed to kind of originally be somebody else's dates.
Oh.
But there was this big thing that went on. There was to no fault of the artist. But anyways, I at one point had the grid, like the tour grid for these dates, and I knew what I was looking at, but it went to this other person. Okay, and then there was some stuff that I'll fill you in after that happened, where the dates ended up going to me to no fault of the artist, but to how somebody else actually was doing stuff.
Okay,
it was really messed up. So an interesting thing about this tour is, like, it was the time of my life, and I knew that going into it, it was so good that it's a yin and a yang. Like, what's going to be the other side? And this person that kind of approached me to work with me on this, it kind of and there was some behavior that I couldn't work with them anymore. I said, hey, listen, and I left them an open door, and I was like, here's the deal, young guy, and I just said, there's plenty of, if you can just figure this out, like, you're welcome to work with me. He's a smart kid, he does good work. But there's certain behavioral things there that, like, he wasn't, he made me feel like I was working for him. I'm like, dude, the check's coming to me. So anyways, I said, dude, I can't do this. Like, let's take a break. And then they ended up calling promoters and telling them that I was unable to perform, which was untrue. It was jeopardizing my whole tour.
Oh, wow.
And then they canceled my plane tickets to
Oh,
shows
my goodness.
because they were managing that.
It's a horror story.
It's a horror story. So because I paid for him, but they put him in, he's the one that made reservations, I couldn't touch these tickets.
Oh, my
So it
goodness.
cost me like several thousand dollars. And it was really a nightmare, dude. Like,
Wow.
I had some of the most anxiety-ridden times of my career, this year because of that. But meanwhile, you know, I'm having great shows. Like everyone I worked with, all the bands were awesome. I mean, I can't say enough about the Three Dog Crew. I mean, I love all those guys.
I love that. Was it a video or maybe just a picture? I think it was a still picture. I don't even know who took it, but that you posted, and I just, for some reason, that connected with me. You had mentioned that how whoever it was from Three Dog stayed there for like your sets, which just does not happen
It's
all the time.
unbelievable, you know, and it's funny because I knew he watched a set a few years ago.
Who's he?
Danny.
It was Danny.
It was
Okay.
Danny. So, and I was still, you know, I mean, now it's like, you know, I'm certainly more comfortable around those guys because it's like, you never dreamed to be working with Three Dog Night. He sold 60 million records. You know, they're icons in the industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I certainly was a little starstruck or taken aback or just so like immensely respectful for what they've done and that they're bringing me on. It's like, and
it's
so
a lot of pressure. You got. I mean,
it is.
I know you're comfortable with what you're doing, but it's like there's a certain.
Well, so the first like 3 or 4 shows of this tour, you know, back in July-ish, like every night I'd look over and like Danny's standing there, and it's like, you know, it's on stage, so it's kind of just his shadow, and I'm like, oh my god, like Danny's watching the whole set, and you know, and he was very complimentary. He's like, hey man, you know, great rapport with the audience. You do a great job talking to him, and he's just it's really nice. Rarely does a headliner come out and just stay and not only watch, but then like actually talk to you about it. So it was really cool and
meant a lot to you.
It did, you know, and it was interesting because, you know, I'm traveling around in this RV, and he was telling me when he first started finding success, he bought an RV for him and his family to follow the tour bus in, so his family could all stay together.
Oh wow, that's a sweet story.
It is, and it's kind of some insights as to the type of guy that he is as well. But one night he's like, "Can I check out the RV?" This thing's like 1995, you know. I'm like, sure. Like, just don't look at the underwear. You know?
Nothing too impressive. In it.
But it's funny. Next thing I know, he's like up in the RV. He's like, "Oh yeah, my dinette used to be over there."
That's funny. Brought back memories for him.
It's it, and I was like, "Dude, this is a trip," and it's cool because, you know, I mean, once I got through some of the tough aspects of the beginning of this year, I got like my buddy Carlin, who's kind of like the original guy that's always come out and helped me with this stuff, and then we had Amanda, who's been a great intern for PB&J. So I was able to work with the team that we've all built something together over the course of years with, and I brought my dad out to some shows, and like, you know, he grew up with this music, so it's like a total trip for him. And
I'm sure he's still more excited to see you.
Well, he's funny, man. It's like, so I'll tell you a story. One night we gave him the in-ear monitors so we could hear like everyone's mix, and but like, you know, with Carlin or Amanda, they're pretty sharp to like how like the flow of things. Yeah. So my dad's saying, I'm like, all right, Dad, like here's the deal. I finished playing. You're already out at the CD at the merch table, so you know, I can just walk out there, sign some CDs, and everything's all set up. So I finished my set, and like I look over, and he's just drinking his Bud Light side stage. And I'm trying to be like, you know, because he doesn't realize there might be a line, you know. So I hope, you know, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Yeah. So I'm like, Dad, you gotta go out with the CDs, and it was this new set of CDs that I ordered. Like they shrink wrap these things so tight, like you need like a legit razor blade to get under this thing. So I come out there and I see this scene where my dad's got like 20 people in front of him, and he's just like, there's like 10 bent CDs because he's trying to get like the shrink wrap open, and I'm like, oh man, Dad, like, you know, you gotta get out there a little sooner.
Please don't bend the CDs.
Oh, it was so funny, you know. But he loves it. He's so excited by it, and like, you know, so it's been really cool to share that stuff with him.
And your lovely mother's doing well, who I was lucky enough to meet not too long ago.
She's a big fan of Moholland Drive. Let me tell you, she loves Drew Moholland.
Yeah, but actually, it's funny. Well, you know, my dad's a musician. That's actually what he calls his little duo, is Moholland Drive.
Oh, does he really? Okay.
So yeah, that's very funny. Well, thank you. We appreciate the support.
No,
Joppa Afternoon Drive. It's our little project here.
It's funny because she was like, "Oh, I get to meet Drew." I was like, "Yeah, 100% you get to meet Drew."
Well, she's the best. We appreciated that. Real quickly, did you get to meet Eddie Money? Was he one of the ones you got to meet, or
I met him?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I met him briefly. You know, I was still pretty timid at that point. Like, you know, I didn't want to, bother anyone. I still don't want to bother anyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Not
just,
your goal.
No, man. Like there's times where I'm the guy, and there's times when someone else is the guy. You know,
Yeah.
and all this support, touring is a support act and stuff. This is somebody else's deal. You know, my job is to make their job as easy as possible. I did say hi to him. I said, thanks for the opportunity. And he was, it was after the show, and he was like, oh, yeah, man, sure. He was pretty like, whatever.
Yeah.
But one thing I did notice about him is that dude was in the parking lot till about 1 a.m. signing autographs for every last fan before he went home.
That's cool.
And that's the stuff that, I love seeing, because it's the stuff that is part of the job that people don't understand.
Yeah.
And to think, what a day looks like for these guys, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It really is. And no matter what level, like, there is no showbiz
It almost
bubble.
gives you hope as a young musician. Like, you can still be doing that at that age, signing the autographs, and still be like cool doing it.
Right. And because
I'm not a defeated man.
Right, because I've worked with bands that don't have that attitude.
Yeah.
And it's not disheartening, and maybe you catch them on a bad day, and at that level, when these guys are doing 150, 200 shows a year across the country, you meet so many people. What's another person? And which isn't a good attitude to have, but I can understand it. It's just like, it's hard to, and some of the stories these guys have of the people that approach them.
Yeah.
Even Three Dog Nights, like some of the crazy people that I've seen after shows.
Oh, I bet.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like still?
Do we get to go into any of those stories? Or?
Well, so I mean, I was out there one night, and it was like an older woman that's like, following me, like trying to get me to get this letter to them.
Trying to get you to deliver a letter. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, what am I supposed to, do with this? And I've seen people get kicked out of venues because they're just, and everyone's just trying to have a good time, and it's funny because it's like, man, here's a group of people that have one of the most respectful audiences in the country, and you're just like, some of the stuff these bands, imagine, if some of the stuff that these guys see on a regular basis and deal with, and for their safety, especially now with all this COVID and Omicron, and bands or families that are trying to protect themselves and stay working, and everyone has their own views and opinions, and that's fine, but we don't need to express those views and opinions while making out with each other necessarily, So it's just kind of
Stories from the Road with Jay Psaros. Good stuff. What do you got next?
So I'll play Zombies for you.
You can play Zombies today.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can, because I don't feel rushed. We have an easy conversation.
You don't play it on tour, but you play it here for us. What a guy.
Yeah, I could take a second here. All right.
Jay Psaros on Joppa Afternoon Drive.
Oh my, the world is ending. Zombies all around my town. Took all the things I needed. Got my head spinning around. Don't say hello to the neighbor. Don't know who I can trust. Don't want to be infected. End up alone because oh my, the world is ending. Found a little peace inside. Goodbye to living in motion. Learn to take it all in stride. Nobody coming to save us. Left here alone to die. Oh my, the world is ending. Gonna be a bumpy ride. You'll never say goodbye to me. I'll never say goodbye to you. You'll never say goodbye to me. Maybe we're living in something we can't define. Feels like political motion taking up all our time. Maybe we're living for something, wasting our precious time. Find a little faith in love, find a little peace of mind. Oh my, the world is ending. Every man for themselves ain't got a fearless leader. try to visit your family. Don't know who living inside. Can't trust the information. All it's ever done is hide. You'll never say goodbye to me. I'll never say goodbye to you. You'll never say goodbye to me. Maybe we're living in something we can't define. Feels like political motion taking up all our time. Maybe we're living in something, wasting our precious time. Find a little faith in love, find a little peace of mind. Something we can't define. Feels like political motion taking up all our time. Maybe we're living for something, wasting our precious time. Find a little faith in love, find a little peace of mind. Whoa, find a little peace of mind. Found a little piece of mind. Hey, all right. From outside the studio.
Well
again.
done, Jay Psaros.
You guys do that with everyone, yeah.
That is not true. Sometimes it just happens. That's what we like about this show. It's organically, whether it happens or not.
So
which is
organic,
fantastic.
man.
You sound fantastic, by the way.
Thank
you
you,
know,
Drew.
I love your voice anyway. But for
thanks,
some
man.
reason today, you're in this studio. I think is a great spot for you. I love the studio, don't you?
Yeah, man. Let's record the whole next album here, yeah?
Do you know that you more cheers?
Yeah.
Do you know that you would not be the first album recorded here?
Really?
Yeah. So,
You know, it would be cool to kind of, we should talk about doing something funky like that.
All right.
It could be interesting. Yeah.
I like that. From the man who has his own studio on the South Shore. It could be a South Shore, North Shore thing.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, seriously, you sound fantastic.
Enemies no more. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Actually, there is a real, like, I work in a Boston newsroom and everything too, and it's like the South Shore, North Shore rivalry. There is like a real thing. People are like, you don't even know what bar pizza is, and I'm like, you're kind of right. I guess I don't know what bar pizza
So
is.
people from the South Shore say that.
To me, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it
mean,
a South Shore thing? It's not a North Shore thing.
Really? You guys don't have bar pizza?
Well, I mean, you can get pizza at a bar, but apparently that's not bar pizza.
So do you ever get like a little pizzas? Not just a small from Puppuccino's?
No.
All right, so you go to a bar and
Yeah.
instead of a pizza and it's one size. That's it.
Yeah, no.
You don't get that up here?
Not really, no.
Really?
You could split a large pizza if you got two people.
I mean, that would make sense too.
That would not be a bar pizza at the bar, though?
No.
See, if that's what I mean. It's a completely, like, people look at you like you're crazy. Like, no, that is not a bar pizza. What the heck is wrong with
Well,
you?
no, what's funny is, like, I never realized there was a thing between North Shore and South Shore about bar pizzas.
Yeah.
But there is a right way to do a bar pizza, I
See,
think. It's got to
you
be
know
crispy.
more. Yeah, apparently it's almost always crispy, right?
Always, yeah.
So that's been drilled into my head. It has to be crispy.
And it's got to be crispy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the guy was too drunk and left it in there. He like forgot about it for a second. You know, it's like, oh yeah, get your
perfect.
pizza. you know.
You know what the thing is in this neck of the woods?
What?
It's roast beef.
Roast beef. Ah, that's right.
And it's weird because it's like,
That's what I got for a sandwich earlier.
oh, did you?
It was no North Shore roast beef.
But they get that here. They got this like the sauce like they use everywhere. Is that like they call it James River sauce? I've yet to find like a local connection to it.
James River sauce.
Yeah,
I've never heard of
James
that.
River barbecue. It's
It's
probably what you had today.
But it's like the watery barbecue, right?
It's like a little spicy,
Okay.
tangy spicy. I'd
Tangy
say.
spicy.
Does that make sense?
You
Tangy
know what?
spicy.
I had a roast beef sandwich recently, and it was tangy spicy.
Mm.
But I like a thick barbecue sauce.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Probably wasn't James.
you guys have bunghole liquors.
That is true. There's a few of those around. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that. Yeah, we had Salem. There's one. There's a few around. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. There's a lot of unique places around, Jay. You know, it's a fun fact here. You might not know this about me actually, because it's fairly new.
Okay.
But my wife went vegan like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Changed up very much what is in the house as far as options go.
Well, yep. Okay.
I can't do the vegan thing. I would love to. She's a much better person than me.
Yeah.
Like I love the whole idea of not doing the animals. I like what the pro environment stuff. That's the big thing for her.
But meat tastes good.
But I learned to eliminate a lot. Like I remember watching one of the million documentaries that she watched that were like head spinning. Like how do you not watch those and go? How do you not watch those and go? I need to reevaluate. You know? It's like,
of course.
But I once said that if you can eliminate red meat and do chicken, you improve the environment by like some huge number.
Well, it's the,
like if
the
everybody did it,
methane and the resources
water
it takes to grow
what you feed the cow, and then goes into the water and all that stuff. We'll spare you all those details. But if you said you could do that, and I was like, I could do that, and I did. I've done that for the last like year and a half.
Yeah.
No, like red meat.
Do you feel better?
You know, I was never like I'm not eating that healthy. My wife will tell you, don't let them fool you.
Yeah.
But like I was never a big like steak guy. I would never go out and get like a steak. Some of my guys love a steak. I would never do that. I would always find something else anyway. So that wasn't a huge thing. I do miss like the cheesesteak. I liked the cheesesteak sub. But I've eliminated that.
Okay.
I found alternatives.
So my wife is vegetarian.
Yeah.
And you know, certainly after dating her and being married to her, it's like a different different thing. But every now and then she'll go vegan for a month and she'll be like, do it with me.
Yeah.
I lasted like, you know, I think
so
a week
hard.
and a half. Dude, so hard.
Stuff you don't even think of.
It is. It's dude, it's in everything.
Yeah.
You know, like the little, you know, the vegetarian's okay. Like I can, you know, but the vegan is impossible, dude.
Well, think about like the dairy's hard, right? Because I'm not a huge like milk drinker, but cheese.
Yeah.
I like cheese on stuff.
Yeah.
And like there's so many substitutes, like the Beyond stuff and all the Impossibles, all that stuff. They've done a great job.
And I don't even know if those are any better for you. You know, like that's what I.
You know
wonder,
what I like about those?
That stuff?
You know what I like about them though? I know people get, you know, I'm not sure I like my meat being made in a lab. I get that.
Yeah.
But what is great about that stuff is when you eat it, it doesn't have that like sinking feeling in your stomach.
No.
Like you have a burger.
Yeah.
Like I don't know about you. I used to love a good burger too. I've had to give that up. But you eat a burger and sometimes it just sits there all day, right?
Oh, dude, lethargic.
Beyond is like you feel great afterwards.
Yeah.
I can go do whatever, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I like.
It's funny. So after touring the summer, because it was just like so much driving, like no time for exercise.
Yeah.
You're eating venue food, and when you're not eating venue food, like maybe you can get like a decent tuna sandwich at a gas station, right? So it's like, I mean, the RV was nice. Yeah, like I would do a pretty good job at stocking up.
Yeah.
But then like, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through, I was just giving up.
If the gas station tuna is the high praise.
Yeah, I know. So, but it was like, I just like felt like crummy, and so I've been doing my wife has a Peloton.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'd just rather go take the dog for a walk and get exercise that way. But I've been doing the Peloton every day, and like 20 minutes, half hour, and I think I've done it every day for the past month or so, and my metabolism's like better. I feel better, but it's weird because like, you know, if I eat food, you know, after exercising that's like vegetables, I'm like hungry 10 minutes later, you know. And then the other day I was like, I'm craving a steak, so I just got like a steak, and I just had like salt and pepper. That was it. Like,
Did you do it in front of your wife? Is she around?
like squeezed it so the blood came out. No. And but it's weird. I ate this steak and I was like, my body instantly felt better.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize that you need that, or I need that protein, like that infusion of whatever that does for your muscles.
To which our wives would say, "There's other ways of getting it."
There are.
For which you say it wasn't that easy at the time.
No, and there are other ways. I could eat 8 million soybeans or whatever. No, like not to, you know, it's hard. I commend them for what they do, because I don't have the patience. Half is just going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's planning. It's getting the right groceries.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, and then the actual execution of it.
Do you ever go to the grocery store?
It's her now. I mean, when she does send me.
It's a nightmare, right?
It's a nightmare.
Dude, I'm texting her, and then she's not.
I'm FaceTiming.
Yeah, dude, especially when you end up in the vegan or vegetarian section.
Yeah, it becomes like your own show. It's like people are like watching you. They're like, oh, look at.
I know. There's the idiot with a wife.
Yeah,
you know?
Should we help him? No, let's just watch for a few. He's always got a FaceTimer.
Oh yeah, well, dude. Then it's like you'll text and you wait for the text back.
Yeah.
And you're like, screw it, I'm leaving. I'm getting this. This happened.
That 10 seconds of dead air. That's like 10 seconds of dead air. It takes so long for them to respond.
So she had me get this like special like soy creamer or whatever. So I'm like sitting at the creamer aisle, and I'm like, and there's like 4 different flavors, and I'm like, well, I can't mess this up. So like normally, I'm like, I'm not just gonna grab one and be like, here's your creamer. I'm gonna try and be nice.
Yeah.
And like be thoughtful. Just Jay, take 5 minutes out of your day, be thoughtful. So I'm like, which one would you really like? So I'm gonna text her. So I text her, and like, I don't hear anything. And I'm like, just wait it out. She'll get back. So like 5 minutes go by, and I'm like, all right, I can't anymore. I'm like, I think she likes caramel. So I grab the caramel soy creamer.
That
put
was
it in
wrong.
The cart.
That was wrong.
I get like all the way to checkout. And she's like, then she hits me back. She's like, oh, it's actually this one. And I'm like, okay. But it's difficult because it's like, I grew up in a non-vegetarian vegan environment, and like I know the products that like make sense to me. Yeah. It's very, very hard, but they're going to outlive all of us. So cheers to them.
Hey, that's the wife portion of the show. Cheers to them.
Yeah.
Better people than us, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, man. You got another one ready to rock here?
Yeah,
what are you thinking?
I'm thinking about tuning.
I'm thinking about tuning.
Yes.
Again, we're joined here by Jay Psaros on Joppa Afternoon Drive. PB&J Records is his record company on the South Shore. If you can get over that North Shore, South Shore rivalry, you can get down there and get in contact with Jay. He's been on tour with, really throughout the pandemic here, doing a great job and playing with so many great bands and so much great solo music here.
This sounds okay, right? Yeah. All right, so...
Do you actually think I was going to say no to that? No, actually, no, Jay. Let me...
yeah, that sounds okay, right? Yeah. So this is like... it's weird, man. The pandemic, there was like kind of a lot of like joyful musical moments for me, and they weren't always the moments that were necessarily like shared with anyone.
Right.
And this one, I remember it was this, not this past December, the December before that, and like we were trying to be really good about just not keeping distance from people and everything. So I called some friends. I was like, dude, I got some new songs. Like, just you guys want to come down to the studio? We'll hang out. We'll throw some mics up and just, I just want to play music with people. And everyone was just starting getting comfortable enough. So like, sure. And this is kind of one of the songs that I brought to them. And I love it, and I really enjoy playing the song. And, it's a song that when I play it with the band now, it just feels really good. It's called Up on the Other Side. And songs are kind of cathartic, and sometimes you don't know why you're writing them until after. And I think when I wrote this, maybe I felt like we were turning a little bit of a pandemic corner here. And then Omicron happened. So,
right.
Yeah.
Nice setup here. Jay Psaros on Joppa Afternoon Drive.
I get a little frustrated, found what I'm looking for. Standing on the other side, standing on the other side. And I'm a little more jaded, burning like a loving knife. Standing in the middle of fire, standing in the middle of fire. More than a little bit faded, taken with the summer sun. Treads on a weather tire, treads on a weather tire. Yeah, I'm coming around, coming around. Yeah, I'm coming around, coming around. Yeah, I'm coming around, coming around. Maybe I can't ignore it now. Can't you feel the river running, baby? We're up on the other side. Maybe time to stop moving on. I can feel the river running, baby. We're up on the other side. Up on the other side. Yeah, and I think I should have waited, jumped in the other side. Swimming with the mighty tide, swimming with the mighty tide. As if I wasn't persuaded, found myself a better end. Now I'm looking back again, now I'm looking back again.
Woo! Jay Psaros.
Thank you, Drew.
Feeling good, man. I know why you like that one. That was nice and catchy right there, man.
It's fun. It's fun to play with a bunch of people too.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's like playing by myself so much. I was like craving that, and I miss that.
Yeah.
And when I was in my early 20s and as a teenager, like I loved being in jam bands and like rock bands, and somewhere I just along the line it just turned more into this folk singer solo thing, which works well for me, and I enjoy it.
It does work well for you.
But I like other stuff.
Yeah. Is it sometimes nice just to stand back and play rhythm guitar or whatever?
It's great, man.
Yeah.
And enjoy. And what's really cool too is like a lot of the people that I'm playing with now, well, not even now, in general, like these are guys that I've known for a long time, and it's cool, seeing all of us develop into better players over the course of 5, 10, 15, in some cases even 20 years. And it's like getting to play with some of these dudes now, just strumming the guitar and sitting back and listening to what they do. Yeah. I mean, it's I get like lost in it sometimes. It's great.
You're doing the right thing, right? When you're making a living at something that get lost in like that.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, man.
Then again, you get lost when you're driving and you forget the gas tank is.
I do. So, dude, I was so freaked out today. I was like, I'm gonna have to call Drew and be like, listen,
I've ran out of gas in the Charlestown Bridge.
I know. Yeah. I'm so.
I've done that before. You're just driving and you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
You're in your own little zone. I get it.
Well, so my wife would, my friends, all the people that know me well, they say that like, Jay, your thing is like you just always put in like $20 at a time. Like I never, and I think it's just so, again, like, I'm doing fine for myself now, but I've spent so many years
accustomed to grinding,
where I'm just like crap, like, all right, I'll just
gonna make sure I save a little for
just a little something for this, a little for that. I can get from here to there with that, and hopefully I get something there, and so that's like really. And I get made fun of all of that because they're like, yep, you and that gaslight. But I wasn't like that in the RV this summer. The RV, like, I filled up as much as possible.
Probably don't want to mess around with the RV.
No, and especially some of the places you're touring through.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Dude, you're a moving target. You get out-of-state plates and this janky, RV that
bunch of expensive guitars inside.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like sometimes people are like, oh, you should put like a sticker on it or like something. And I'm like, dude, if I put a sticker on it, it's gonna be like a sticker about the gun collection that I don't have. Just like like guns don't kill people. I do. Like big bold letters on the side of it. But what's great about the RV is it looks just sketchy enough where you're probably not gonna get bothered.
Well played. You got the perfect one.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we don't want to, it's not like one of those, it's not a 2020 Sprinter van or anything.
Who wants that?
Yeah,
it's
touring in that would be awful.
Unless somebody's offering now.
Unless somebody's offering.
That is too funny. Well, Jay Psaros, we don't pick favorites on this show, but I know that you are one of the show's favorites. And we enjoy having you very much in here, and I personally have enjoyed following your career over however many years it's been, and especially through this pandemic when you've just kind of been great.
Oh, thanks, man.
Been damn good, man. So look forward to many years ahead of listening to new
this.
music and this
coming up.
We're contractually signed to at least one appearance in the studio per year. But no, seriously, releasing great music, playing great live shows, and who's doing the videos, by the way, on those shows? Can you give I saw one, like somebody did the. There's been a million of them, but one I was just thinking of was the you did a Purple Rain cover somewhere in like Omaha or something.
So that was my buddy Carlin.
Okay.
That's just a cell phone on a gimbal.
Was it really?
That's it. Yeah.
Wow. So he was actually walking up and down the aisles.
So it's
such a good video.
Well, Carlin's great at that.
Where can people find it, by the way? I don't want to go without people seeing it.
YouTube.
Just go to YouTube.
On my website.
And if you want to find your music, you're on Spotify and all that stuff.
That stuff.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Whatever. On with the story.
Yeah.
But Carlin, so he's walking up and down.
Yeah. So he's really good at this because it's like. Of course, my wife doing what she does, we have some really good equipment, but it's tough to get like a big DSL camera on a big gimbal in and through an audience. And Kate's definitely a little bit more on the I don't want to say timid side, on the conservative side in terms of, but Carlin doesn't care.
Carlin will walk
right in front of the front row, but he's just got like this gimbal on a thing, and it's funny because on stage I see it. And I see the reaction of people, and like you'll get some nights where people are like, "Oh yeah, like stuff's happening," and then you get like those other nights where people are like, you know, like,
yeah.
you know, but at the end of the day, it's 3 seconds of someone in front of them. I'm trying to build something here.
And here we are talking about it, so it's probably worth those 3 seconds.
I guess so, yeah, you know.
Too funny. Well, man, you sound great. I'm so happy
Drew.
for you, all the success. You want to play us out? You got one more to take us home here?
You know, I know you're a fan of Whiskey in the Rain, or unless there's something else you want to hear.
I do love that one. I would never tell you what to play, but I
Okay.
do love that one.
Let's play that one for you then.
All right. It's been a while since I've heard you play this.
Yeah.
Nostalgic. I like it.
Nostalgic, yeah. Reminiscent.
Yeah, better. Jay Psaros on Joppa Afternoon Drive. Thank you, everybody. This has been great. He's been great. Go follow him again. Jay Psaros. Get a chance to see him live. Go do it. My name's Drew Moholland for Sarah Blackstone, Sarah Hayden, the whole crew. Thank you. Peace.
Whoa, yesterday, country road, simple way, so easy then to get your fill. My, how it's changed, but my memory remains of whiskey in the rain on a hill, where I'd repeat the same old songs. Then you tell me that I sing the chorus wrong. We didn't need much to catch our thrill, drinking whiskey in the rain on a hill. Road 49 from the highway to the riverside would wind below the moon up above. Time it was filled, and there never was a bill with whiskey in the rain on a hill, where I'd repeat the same old songs. Then you tell me that I sing the chorus wrong. We didn't need much to catch our thrill, drinking whiskey in the rain on a hill. So let us go back to where the whiskey grows 10 feet below the moon on a hill, and take the long way back down dirty roads with timber stacked. Here's to you and me not looking back. Here's to you and me not looking back to where I'll sing the same old songs. Then you tell me that I sing the chorus wrong. We didn't need much to catch our thrill, drinking whiskey in the rain on a hill, drinking whiskey in the rain on a hill, drinking whiskey in the